Good morning, Jacob.
Good morning.
My name is Natalie, and I'm going to be your social worker for the day. Now, before we get started, do you like to be called Jacob, or is there another name you'd rather me call you by?
Would you call me by Jake?
Yeah, absolutely, Jake. So before we start our session, just real briefly, I'd like to talk about our confidentiality agreement. This just means that anything that me and you talk about will stay between us privately, unless, of course, you were to say something that was going to harm yourself or harm another person. Then I would have to break our confidentiality and report it. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Great. Now, a little bit I read about you is that you're in 7th grade and that you've been having some problems with your teachers in school. Is that correct?
Yes.
Could you maybe tell me a little bit more about what's going on?
Well, in third period, my class is pre-algebra, and my teacher's name is Miss Stewart. She does have concerns with most of the kids because most dark kids in my school are very mean and very not acting like age appropriate with like selling things and stuff like that. And so it was a normal day in pre-algebra, and so I sat down. She gave us an assignment to do Carnegie Learnings, which is like questions on a math topic that we have. And so I was working on that, and I got it all done. And I started on my homework because our homework was due tomorrow, and it was out 9 points. And she came over and said, "Jacob, that was not the assignment." And then I didn't want to fight her, so I didn't say anything. I said, "Okay, I'm sorry." And then she told me, "Do another workspace." And so I did. But once I was done, I had to do my homework. And so she said to the rest of the class, "If you're done with your homework and done with your Carnegie Learning, you can play a game." And that made me feel very sad because I thought she would think that I'm a bad kid and I don't try to be at all. And it just makes me very, very insecure about myself if a teacher yells at me. And so I was very paranoid that day and trying to figure out what I should do. I asked people, my friends, and it just kind of made the problem worse because it just made me think about it more. And she could tell all the teachers, she could tell everyone that I'm a bad kid. I didn't want that, and I don't try to be a bad kid at all.
Now, you're saying that you're very frustrated in math class because you feel that she's only targeting you because of your color. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, now, is this the only class that you're having this problem, or is there any other classes that this is going on?
Yes, there is one more class. It's my 4th period social studies. My teacher's name is Dr. Delalucia, and he didn't start the lesson yet. I sat down in my seat. I have a group of friends, and we all talked before the lesson, which the lesson didn't start. And when Dr. D stood up in the middle of the classroom, he called me out on talking to my friends when I only answered them because I said to stop talking, the lesson's starting. And so he said, "Dr. Roxbury, is this going to be a problem, you sitting by everyone while talking to them?" And also, I didn't want to fight him, so I said, "I'm sorry, I won't do it again." But it made me feel like they got away with something that they did, and I took the blame for, because they talked almost the whole beginning of the lesson and didn't stop. And yeah, I got in trouble, which made me feel just like I was in pre-algebra, very self-conscious about how I look and how other people think of me.
Okay, so it seems as though with these two teachers, they're calling you out and you feel it's for no reason. Is that correct? So this is also causing you to be very insecure and very questionable of why they're doing this to you only, right? Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so when this is happening, Jacob, is there anybody that you can go to? I heard that you said you have friends. Do they help you with any of these problems?
Sometimes, not as much as other people, like my teachers. first teacher that helps me is Mr. Bowen.
Mm-hmm.
He has helped me with lots of things, like such as getting a good grade if I'm paranoid or something. And he'll also know like if there's something wrong with a student,
Mm-hmm.
and he'll ask about you and be like, "Hey, what's going on? I've noticed that you've been like not doing good with grades and things." And so I didn't tell my friends either about it because I just didn't feel like I wanted to make the problem worse. Just like with Mr. Bowen, I didn't tell him and I just kept it inside. And so the next day at 8th period, Miss Meals, the teacher's name is Miss Meals, and she's my 8th period, and she's very welcoming in her class. She also has a 7th grade son.
Mm-hmm.
And she says that she understands how it feels to be a 12th grader because she was one and she also has a son. And she's helped me with a lot of things. She's very much like a good friend. Even if you don't know her a lot, she's one of those people that will always like stick up for you and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
If you explain to her what's happening. And here's one example that makes me very like secure with her and trusting with her is when I have a bad test, like such as last week. I was paranoid because Dr. D yelled at me again for no reason, and so she let me redo the test and I got an A on it.
Oh, good.
And those are the only people who I guess make me feel better about myself.
Okay. Well, Jacob, it does sound like you do have some support when you do have some hard times, is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Now, may I ask briefly, just have you had these problems before, or is this something that's just occurring lately?
It's happened before because most of the kids, as I said, are not really good in EF, and the teachers like mistort how I think she thinks about me, like that I'm a bad kid and I don't try to be. I feel like they also did the same because they always used to yell at me if I did something wrong or if I even had something done. And it just kind of also made me more insecure about myself, especially in this grade.
Mm-hmm. Now, I know that you have a lot of support at school. Do you also have some support at home?
No, not really. I don't really talk about what's going on in school with them.
Okay. Is there a reason for that, or you just feel that school's only for school stuff?
Yeah, a tiny bit, so I can just deal with it all there.
Okay.
And not worry anyone else about me or my thoughts or whatever's happening in school.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, Jacob, I definitely want to work on a goal for you for our next session. With your problems with your teachers, and you're also just not feeling like you fit in, and you're like starting to feel a little bit of insecurity. I know that also goes with age, but I want to help you maybe get through some of that. Do you have any way that you'd like to, like what kind of goal you'd like to get to?
Maybe working it out with my teachers and explaining myself and like what's happening.
Do you feel like maybe over this next week, maybe that's something you can do?
I think I can.
Okay. In what way would you feel that you could talk to them about what's been going on with you?
By explaining to them like what happened in certain classes and explain to like Miss Store how I have most things done in her class.
Mm-hmm.
I have an A right now, and so that also backs me up on her class, and such as Dr. D's class, I get almost everything good, and I'll show him that I didn't know the lessons start yet. No one did, and I didn't think like I was doing anything wrong, and I only told them to stop because you were getting up out of your seat and I didn't know when the lesson was going to start.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that will help me explain to them how, like, how I felt, and also tell them what's happening in classes that they don't know about.
Okay. Well, Jacob, definitely, I do like that goal a lot. I think that will really help you out. For this week, though, maybe let's focus on one teacher. Maybe perhaps going to your pre-algebra teacher first and seeing if maybe you could talk to her privately about what's been going on. And maybe we'll start there first, and then we'll move on from there. Does that sound all right to you?
Mm-hmm.
All right, great. Well, I definitely like that we're going to keep moving on with this, and hopefully we can get you on the right track through school, because I understand that school is already difficult with you're trying to make friends, and as you're growing and having some teacher problems and insecurities can always backfire on you and make you feel a lot less important in school, and we definitely don't want that for you. So I definitely like those goals, and I will see you next session, all right?